My name is Amy Pirkle. I'm an assistant professor with a joint appointment in New College and Honors College. So within the Honors College, I teach the UH 100 class, which is the Honors Year 1 Connections course. It's an introduction to the University of Alabama, an introduction to Honors College. We cover a lot of topics like identity, agency, belongingness, critical thinking, research. And then also within the honors, I have some seminars that I like to teach revolving around my area of study, which is the history of the book and contemporary book arts. I also teach a creativity seminar within New College, which is a 200-level interdisciplinary seminar about creativity. I teach a class within honors called Contemporary Book Arts. And within that class, students are introduced to the idea of contemporary book arts. For a lot of students, they don't know anything about book arts. So this is a good opportunity for me to tell them what book arts is. Essentially, book arts is when you use the book form as the medium for your art. So if you think about sculpture or photography or painting, you pretty much already know what the medium is for that. Within book arts, the students are actually creating books that are pieces of art. One of the assignments I do within that course that a lot of students are excited about is the flipbook assignment that I do closer to the end of the semester. So I do a lot of flipbooks myself. It's a very basic form of animation where you hand draw every page. You stack them up into a stack of cards and you flip through, and these static drawings suddenly become animated characters. I first started doing flipbooks or basic animation things when I was really little. I learned that if you put two drawings side by side and flip between them really quickly, you could have a person waving their hand, or you could have someone bowing their head. It was a very simple, just two drawings going back and forth. And as I got older, I kind of moved away from that. But I went to an exhibit 9 or 10 years ago. One of the pieces that the student had on display was a small flipbook that she had made that was about 20 pages long. I suddenly remembered how much I had loved making flipbooks when I was a kid. So I flipped through it and I thought, you know what, I should do this. Now that I'm a professional book artist, I know how to make books, I can improve on those skills that I had as a little kid. So I went home and I just decided to make a flipbook. It was around Valentine's Day, so I was thinking, what's a good subject for the very first flipbook? Oh, I'll just make a Valentine for my husband. So it was a very simple morphing animation where I took his name and a heart and made it morph into the words, I love you. And it took about 60 or 70 pages to make that animation transition. I'm completely self-taught with animation, so I had to kind of look at some tutorials online on how to do transition animation. But I really loved the way it turned out. It was really exciting for me. I posted it on my social media and it got some attention, which of course I love attention. So I thought, oh, I want to ride this high. I'm going to make a second flipbook. And then I just kind of took off. I was just getting so excited about doing this thing, tapping into this sense of being a little kid again, and the thing that I was really interested in as a little kid. But also, I was getting a lot of notice on social media. I was growing my channel. I was getting a lot of interaction with other people in the book arts world who also do flipbooks. And I felt a great sense of community, and I just kind of kept going with it. Before I knew it, it kind of took over my entire studio practice. And I began to create more serious flipbooks. I was actively trying to get better at the medium. I was actively trying to think about, in a contemporary art world, where does a flipbook fit in? One of the animations that I really like to teach early on with my students who are brand new to making flipbooks is fire flickering. It's one of the easiest things to draw. Pretty much everyone can draw a flame, but also because it's an organic shape, if it doesn't look exactly right, it still looks good. So basically, if you start with something called a key drawing, that's going to be the drawing that you kind of keep coming back to that kind of sets the stage for the whole flipbook. Most flipbooks that I do have multiple key drawings. Obviously with the fire flickering, because it's such a simple animation, I'm just going to have the logs and the flame as the key drawing that I keep kind of coming back to make sure that everything stays in the same place. Basically, I start with one drawing of the flame and the logs. I put the next card on top and I draw, just shifting the flame a little bit. And I also want to make sure the logs are in the same place, because while the flames are moving, the logs stay the same every time. And then I can move that card out of the way, put another one on top, draw the flame again, move that one out of the way, put another card on top. It's just a repetitive process. It doesn't matter what order I'm flipping these in, it's always going to look good. I see a lot of creativity with honors students. So within the Honors College, we have student learning outcomes at every level, and all of these student learning outcomes revolve around three main things. One of those categories is critical and creative thinking skills. So every honors class tries to incorporate those creative and critical thinking skills into the curriculum. So within any class that I teach within honors, I'm giving assignments to students that really make them use their creative thinking skills. So I definitely see creativity a lot within the honors college. So I actually feel like there are a few different definitions for creativity. One of the definitions that I really like comes from Ken Robinson, who has a PhD and does a lot of studies in creativity. His definition of creativity is that it is the process of having original ideas that have value. And whenever I present that idea to my students, they often will say, well, the word value is pretty subjective, and the idea of something being an original, can anything really be an original? And get lots of different definitions of creativity. For me, I do feel like there needs to be something novel. There needs to be some value, not just to yourself or to your mom, right? Like any little kid who brings home a painting that they did in class, it's going to have value to the parents probably. But is it going to have value to society as a whole? I think that's a different question. So that's kind of where my idea of creativity lands.